The whole city's on fire. But anyway, we'll have to stop it somehow. Hey, what is up ladies and gentlemen? It is I am the one and only Maxi here, and I am of course back for some more yet again for the likes of the Maxi Toys videos. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for some more of Let's Play of Pac-Man World 3 for the Nintendo GameCube, PlayStation 2, Xbox, PC, PSP, and Nintendo DS. So, last time, I believe we actually did manage to accomplish the forms of the 7th world in the game, despite I did have some navigation problems, but at the very end of the day, I basically just managed to finish that level at long last. So, yeah, today for this episode is the fact that we are moving on to the next world in this game, which appears to be the 8th world, and I don't know exactly what this world is actually called, because I know it has been a couple of days since we actually last touched upon this game, since on Monday, and because of that though, hopefully, and especially noticeable that ever since yesterday, that I'm assuming that Mega Man has already finished up with his Let's Play of Klonoa Empire of Dreams yesterday, so we figure we might be able to do the majority of the parts of Pac-Man World 3 before we move on to the forms of the next couple of Let's Plays for that particular matter. So, hopefully we would be able to actually just to sort that out, while still Mighty the Armadillo will still able to be returning back onto Mario Party 5, enjoying any forms of the majority of the weekends, as to be expected. So, yeah, today's day is of course the 21st of July today, in this case in 2021, and we only got about 2 more days to go until the Tokyo 2020 Olympics is about to begin. So, for the opening ceremonies and all that stuff. If you guys are probably thinking about the fact that my commentary gets a bit, weird and all that stuff though, mainly it's because, well, by that point in time, it's the fact that in the UK anyway, we actually stumbled across a massive heat wave at the moment. So, I might as well able to stay in the shade for a while, and then hopefully I might as well turn my fan on whenever I finish this recording session. So because of that, hopefully it shouldn't be that much of a big of an issue though, and as usual I've opened my window, just in case for fresh air needs to come in, and you probably get the idea about that solution. So, plus it's still summer, so to be expected by that point. So, oh yeah, there are a few rare occasions where basically we do need to use that electric shock ability, so that way we can able to get our progression. But first off, we need to take care of these old kinds of enemies first, so yeah, we're gonna have to deal with that first. So there's also another reason I managed to actually just to try to say this right now, that the actual uploading schedules for the majority of the videos for this game might actually go a bit slightly slower in comparison to likely for, you know, the Mario Party Let's Plays. Mainly it's because of the forms of how the fact that, well, because of the heat wave might actually slow me down a little bit for, not only for commentary, but also trying to record some more gameplay footage and all that stuff, which, hopefully we will still can by that time until whenever it gets to the point until the next couple of days, or potentially if the weather gets a bit more cooler, for the sake of the forms of like occasional rainy weathers and all that stuff. Hopefully I should be back on track, but as far as heat wave is concerned, that's not to say that the actual heat wave, although it can be pretty dangerous if you manage to go out there for a long period of time, but I'm honestly not a big fan of the heat wave. Probably it's because of the forms of the actually just slows me down, and especially noticeable that, well, don't get me wrong, I do enjoy the sunny weathers, don't get me wrong, but it's just that the heat wave can be a bit too much for my taste, but that's just me. But you know, you get the idea about that. So, anyways, let's go ahead and climb onto this ledge before we're able to actually grab, you know, some more fruits, and as well as more pack dots to collect, and, well, basically that's pretty much as far as we can go. So, anyways, let's activate that switch, so just in case we can able to activate those pistons over there, so that way we can able to navigate through the actual level, and we'll use the electric shock just onto here, and that way we can able to continue our progression onto that particular door over there. So, and oh yeah, remember the forms of the 4th level that I somehow managed to get struggles when it comes to forms of likely butt bouncing those switches? Well, thankfully I know exactly what to do. So you have to grab, well, you know, butt bounce those 2 switches, and that way it'll get us some progression. So, Yeah, again, it's a bit like a semi-blind for the first time, but when you get the hang of it though, during the later worlds, it shouldn't be too much hassle to deal with, even though sometimes you get confusion at times. But anyway, another thing I just want to explain about this as well, that sadly, I no longer have myself the forms of, well, let's just say I no longer have Rayman Revolution on the PlayStation 2. Although, don't get me wrong, that Rayman 2 The Great Escape is the best Rayman game of all time, because obviously the Dreamcast version is much more superior. I think I'm also trying to get the PS1 version, just for the sake of the forms of, well, actually really good voice acting, because the problem with the PS2 version is that I barely hear the forms of the actual voiceovers in that game. And especially noticeable that, well, compared to the Dreamcast version, the superior one, that it does manage able to have a Rayman kind of language, but same applies to the forms of other versions like the DS version or the 3DS version. Well, the 3DS version is based off from the Dreamcast version, besides, you know, really bad frame rate. But aside from that, I'm also able to try to get the PS1 version of Rayman 2 The Great Escape compared to the PlayStation 2 counterparts. Or maybe I have no idea why I'm saying this right now. Well, mainly it's because of the fact that, well, I'll think about it whenever that time comes, because obviously that I'm actually going to be able to try to get Sonic Riders for the PlayStation 2 alongside with Zero Gravity for the PlayStation 2, despite those two versions are probably the weakest versions of Sonic Riders, both the original and the second one, due to the fact that, well, as far as I'm aware, that the PS2 version is alright, besides lower frame rate in multiplayer, at least as far as what I've heard about it, and during the forms of the PS2 version, besides lower frame rate in cutscenes, but apart from those side of things though, I'm actually kind of curious to able to get those, because, you know, I'm a die-hard Sonic fan, as you guys know, so, speaking of a massive die-hard Sonic fan, I, obviously did manage to pre-order the forms of Sonic Colors Ultimate, 3 versions of the game recently, and I'm about to be able to get the item that does contain a Baby Sonic chain. Like 3 of these actually. I know it's a bit of a waste of money, but trust me when I say this, I'm actually going to be looking forward to replaying the Sonic Colors game again, but except with much more better visuals. Well, besides the minus the forms of you know, the lack of 60 frames per second on the Switch version, just like the Sonic Forces game, along with Team Sonic Racing, but that's fine by me. So, okay, it's just a visible wall here, so I think we should be okay for this, so... Oh boy, this is quite treacherous with that specific jumps you have to make, especially that if you really want to get the remaining collectibles, like these fruits as you saw down there, from those pistons didn't activate, well, best of luck for able to obtain those, so... But hopefully, we would be able to actually ignore those for the time being. Even though, again, I was expected to do the 100% playthrough, but I'm going to do this by my own time. So because of that, no need to worry about this for the time being. So we'll just go ahead and continue things on here. And butt bounce those 2 switches to be able to open up the door. So that should be not that much of a problem. So, and also another thing is the fact that, yes, I did manage to play Sonic N for a bit, and, well, it seems to be more specifically, I'm pretty much almost at the halfway point in Sonic N on the Nokia N-Gage, so that way I could potentially try to able to actually finish up the game during the course of certain summer days. So, along with the forms of, you know, more continuation playthrough of, you know, The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD for the Nintendo Switch, basically. So, hopefully that should be a little bit more of a doubtful anyway. So, I'm not exactly sure if I was going to do a playthrough of Skyward Sword on the Switch though, just because of the forms of how the fact that, well, I'm busy playing at the moment, and plus because of that though, I might need to still look up on guides in order able to actually solve puzzles, and especially notable with certain guidance and stuff like that. But, well, we'll see. Especially noticeable that we're still working on, you know, Pac-Man World 3 at the moment, so, but either way though, we can expect this much, so... speaking of the Nokia N-Gage, I think I'm also able to try to say this right now, that eventually until, specifically in the future, I think I'm also trying to get myself the last Nokia N-Gage, game, which appears to be by the forms of, I would say Rayman 3 for the Nokia N-Gage, despite the fact it's basically a port to the Game Boy Advance game. But for what I've heard, that the Game Boy Advance version and the Nokia N-Gage are by far the best reviews of Rayman 3. So because of that, though, I'm also trying to get that, because I was originally trying to able to get myself a Nokia N-Gage version of, you know, Crash Nitro card, but unfortunately, though, that the actual reviewers might actually think that the Game Boy Advance version is definitely more superior, which is very understandable, especially noticeable how the Game Boy Advance version is actually a little bit more fluid as far as the actual version is concerned. So hopefully I'm also trying to get the Game Boy Advance version of Crash Nitro card in the future, but obviously I can't do it right now, just because obviously I'm still focusing on purchasing other sort of items in the future for playing games from time to time on my own time, especially for, you know, playing, you know, Zelda Skyward Sword HD, and once I completed that, then I could potentially gonna be able to move on to the next game on the Switch, which is, well, Sonic Colors Ultimate, but not right now though, just because I'm actually gonna be saving that up until the Let's Play of the game, until specifically in the future. Well, not now though, so anyways, let's go ahead and turn this little dial until we're able to actually activate the actual water, so that way we can able to actually just to, well, continue our progression from this point right here. So yeah, there's quite a lot of fire, which is to be expected because, you know, the whole city's on fire and all that jazz. So yeah, you probably expect about that point. So, which I'm making a reference to something related to Sonic 06, by the way. So, you know, at the level Crisis City, yeah, I thought to myself about that. So anyways, let's move on to the next maze. So, well, at least to be more potentially, it can be optional if you want able to, you know, play with the forms of those mazes and such. Oh, and by the way, those mazes, that is, you notice that every time you stumble across a Galaxian item, you do need to unlock those other mazes, by the way, because most of them were locked from the get-go. So in order to unlock them is by simply go through, like, you know, finding those Galaxian items, or potentially you can able to find several mazes during the course of the story progression, as you notice on level 4, level 6, and possibly level 7, if I recall. Yeah, I think it's level 7, potentially. So because of that, hopefully we would be able to actually just well, rank up some more extra lives, because I seriously swear to God I do need to be able to get a lot of extra lives in the future, just because if I don't get enough extra lives, then I'm gonna have to able to get myself my first ever game over. So we won't let that happen, especially noticeable because, well, I think potentially speaking is the fact that we pretty much at the halfway point in Pac-Man World 3 already. So we can expect we can able to actually finish this game in particular, and during at some point during the course of by the end of the month. So yeah, we'll able to stay tuned for that. So anyway, so let's go ahead and just keep on doing some more butt bouncing onto those specific robots, or trying to simply punch them. But honestly, I think butt bounce will be a better option for my part. Well, I don't know about you, but either way though, it knows where it stands. So anyways, let's save our game here, and just in case if I don't get that much frustrated if I was gonna able to come across into some annoying parts, but so far we're not doing too shabby for the most part, especially noticeable about the fact that, wow, unlike the fourth world, that basically I do come across into a lot of you know, jump errors and stuff like that, like my jump button does not respond to me at all. So anyways, oh, looks like we got ourselves the, well, the pinky, ghost section from the start, right there, just like in the forms of the previous level that we've already done. So, hopefully we'll try to able to, like, you know, solve as many puzzles as we can do. So, obviously we can't do there at the moment, well, unless if we're able to hop onto those pistons over there. So, we could potentially try to able to go ahead and, well, trying to deal with that. Oh, and by the way, speaking of the other games that I actually gonna think about it, I actually decided able to keep Rayman Revolution with me on the PlayStation 2, despite it's pretty much exactly the same, aside from the forms of a massive hub world between levels to levels. So I figure I'm also able to keep the PS2 version for now on. So because of that, because I feel like that Rayman 2 The Great Escape is actually one of the greatest Rayman games ever, so at least potentially that I might as well get the PS1 version as well for superior voice acting. And plus, maybe we could probably do a Let's Play of Rayman 2 The Great Escape if we got enough time. So, along with the first game, although I've heard that the first game is actually one of the hardest games to able to actually do a playthrough on, just because of a lot of emphasis on trial and error, and also because of the forms of, well, the first two worlds might not be so hard, but until the third world, it really starts to pick up the forms of specific difficulty. So because of that, yeah, now we've actually activated those two bridges that actually leads us to the actual switch, and we can able to butt bounce this particular switch, and that way we can continue our progression. So because of that, now we can able to do some more things here and there. So yeah, anyway, and speaking of other games that I would like to discuss, now's the forms of the SpongeBob SquarePants movie on the PlayStation 2, that I've decided able to actually no longer have that particular game. Mainly it's because I'm pretty much used to with the forms of Battle for Bikini Bottom at this rate. Mainly it's because of how the fact that usually it's pretty simple, and also that in the Battle for Bikini Bottom game, does have a lot of references but in forms of the actual SpongeBob SquarePants TV show, which I always appreciated, especially specifically the first 3 seasons to be more specific. So at least I'm usually a big fan of the forms of the actual game, so including the forms of the rehydrated version on the PlayStation 4, as well as the Xbox One version, and even a Switch version, which I might potentially try to able to re-pick up the Switch version so I can play on the go. And not to mention though, I might possibly try to get the Xbox One version so I can able to do like, God knows, a Let's Play of the game or something like that, even though that it really depends on it, honestly, just because, wow, usually I'm still saving up for, you know, Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania, and as well as from that, you know, Mario Party Superstars, because otherwise, that if I'm spending too much cash, then I'm also able to be bankrupted again, and plus I'm also saving up for, the upcoming amusement park in the future in America, which appears to be by the forms of Super Nintendo World in Hollywood, most likely, so yeah, you probably get the gist of it. So and I just realized we actually did manage to also take control of Blinky, or Clyde, as what it's mistakenly named for this game in particular. So yeah, it's pretty cool to be able to take control of 2 ghosts in 1 level. So yeah, it's pretty cool though. Well, because potentially speaking is that Inky and Clyde, or potentially Blinky in this game, that they somehow both got kidnapped. So yeah, it probably makes it a little bit more up for it, especially if we're able to actually have the ability to able to play, you know, 3 characters all at once, or 3 different playable characters, which I guess is like a cool thing. Especially get it because, you know, this game is called Pac-Man World 3, so it makes sense to be able to actually have like 3 playable characters in the game. So, well, potentially speaking, you're able to take control of Pac-Man the whole time, whilst the majority of some sections that basically you can take control of the forms of other 2 ghosts as well. So anyways, let's go from like platform to platform, and then basically we need to use that supersonic screeching scream or something like that, or potentially like a sonic scream or anything else like that for Blinky right here. Well, potentially speaking, that we can able to deal with like more enemies, or in some cases trying to deal with some more puzzles here and there. So anyway, so let's go ahead and double check what's going on here. In fact, there's nothing over there, so we'll just continue. So, nah, I don't suppose there's anything else over there, so oh well, no big deal, but at least we can able to actually just to do with, actually couldn't think about it, maybe it's probably best to able to ignore those enemies, so that way we can able to continue our progression. So, anyway, so let's go ahead and go through like, you know, climbing the actual like, you know, the actual, I don't know how you're able to actually say this right now, because I know it has been 2 days since I actually last touched upon this game, because potentially speaking, I'm still practically going to be busy playing, you know, Zelda Skyward Sword HD. In fact, I'm pretty much almost at the very end of that game actually. So once I, you know, completed that, then I can move on to the next Switch game. Well, not Super Smash Bros. Ultimate for the time being, because I'm still waiting for, you know, the final DLC fighter. And also, same applies to the forms of, well, I won't classify for same by the forms of other Switch games like Kirby Star Allies. Just yet though, well, besides I'm still going to be able to participate in it for other two modes, which is the Ultimate Choice, and also say applies to the forms of Another Dimension kind of mode for the DLC. So, anyways, let's get ourselves a special card, and that way we can able to continue our progression with this pack dodge chain. So, hopefully, we would be able to finish up this level by then. So, yeah, I think for the most part, this level's not too bad, honestly, even though that sometimes it might take a bit of a while to get used to with the actual level layout and everything, and especially noticeable with how the fact that, well, we got to do with a lot of combat, specifically in this section right there, so, well, at least to be more potentially, we can able to eat up some more spectral ghosts, so, anyways, let's butt bounce here, so that, oh wait, it's not high enough, but, actually, gonna think about it, let me just, do that section over there for that specific switch we can able to butt bounce into, or potentially we can able to just do that and make our leaps of faith to not only get caught by the flames of disaster. Nah, just only kidding, it's just only flames. So anyway, so let's go and eat up some more spectral ghosts before we continue our progression here. And oh, I somehow made it, but I somehow got hurt by, I don't know what it is, like a hit detection or something like that, or a weird hitbox, but it knows where it stands. So anyways, let's go ahead and obtain the next pack, you know, power pellets, that way we can able to just, you know, do the usual stuff. Oh, there's a strawberry there, I did not notice that was there. And also some more pack dots here and there as well, so we could able to get some more score progressions or anything. And grab the health wedge just in case for, you know, increasing some more health and what have you. But yeah, I have no words to talk about for the sake of this point, guys. I know it has been, oh jeez, that was really close. I almost gonna fall off to death for a moment. But thankfully we did manage to able to survive from all that. So we could able to just, okay, so I have no words to able to actually think about it. But obviously I'm pretty much used to with how the fact that with those power pellets they easily respawn, but apparently we got to grab the one on the other side, so yeah, I'm sorry for the actual commentary, it gets a bit more iffy, as I said, mainly because of the forms of the heat wave gets a bit stronger, well, at least in our country anyway, for my country's sake, but excuse me, hopefully by that time until the next few videos that basically, I could potentially try to able to make my commentary a little bit slightly better, but we'll see. Alright, so we stumbled across the next safe spot, so hopefully we should be able to finish this world by then. So, I think this might actually be the last section of this world.
No! It's a huge, immense, gigantic bonus! I mean bomb! It's a good job you didn't warn me about this, Orson. I'd panicked!
Pac-Man, I've got an online schematic of a bomb right here. Probably a completely different type of bomb, and the diagram is in a language I can't read, but it's keeping me sane. You need to get on top of it. Use the pistons. The activation switch is on the ledge. Don't think you'll be getting out here once it's gone. I'm new to interior decoration, I know, but I think the walls will look just fine painted patch yellow.
And the actual line cuts off, so yeah, it seems a little bit underwhelming. But anyways, time to deal with more enemies, and the ultimate goal for this last section of the level is by simply we need to make our way to the top of the actual massive bomb. And in order to stop it though, it's the fact that we have to deal with even more platforming, and also trying to deal with some beat 'em ups from time to time. So because of that, yeah, this is gonna be something. Well, especially noticeable about the fact that, well, as you notice, that we actually got ourselves a timer. So, if the time runs out, basically you're gonna have to do the entire section all over again. And plus, there won't be any checkpoints on that particular, platforming segment, because if you screw this up, then you also have to restart when you left off from that save zone. So, because of that, Definitely a bit annoying though, but at least we can able to try to deal with it as long as if my jump button does not respawn on me sometimes, which it can be a bit of a problematic, mind you, if we're able to try to deal with, you know, a bit of difficult platforming. So, anyways, let's try to beat those guys down, and what's in here? Oh, strawberry. But in fact, we've automatically got a strawberry from the start, so that should be good. And there's also an extra life over there, so if you weren't able to grab that earlier on, then by all means you can do that. So, potentially speaking, we got ourselves 10 lives, so I think that should be alright. Even though, mind you, that unlike Pac-Man World 1 or Pac-Man World 2, that, as I said before, they don't get, you know, a whole bunch of extra lives in this game. Well, there are a few rare occasions where you might able to get yourself some good chances you can get, you know, quite a ton of extra lives, potentially, so. Anyways, let's go ahead and destroy these things, so that way we can able to not let those bomb-like enemies respawn. So, anyways, let's go ahead and continue our progression here. And make sure we don't need to able to get hit by those little spinning cartwheel. And because of that, though, you might also get hurt by that, so. And also, every time you die in the forms of that particular section, you also have to restart as well. So, yeah, it's just a bit of busy work. And it also does remind me of the checkpoint system in Sonic Heroes in Mystic Mansion level, specifically in Team Sonic most likely, because either way, if you screw up on that last part, you have to go ahead and restart back into where you activate the checkpoint from. So, yeah, that's pretty much summarized as such. So, anyways, let's go and go for these little flamethrowers and get ourselves another extra life. So that way it will lead us to 11 lives. So how's that for that? And make sure that, oh darn it, I somehow got hit by those stupid lasers. But well, no big deal, but at least we can able to go ahead and, you know, butt bounce these little laser contraptions. And I think we've almost there now, so we're just going to do a lot of careful platforming with all these little tilted platforms, and also we do need to activate that switch. That's what it's shown on that particular dialogue cinematic scene, that one over there, and that way we can able to actually just to go ahead and grab. Oh, okay, there's no way I can grab that, and you know, butt bounce from here, and here's the last part, jumping for those pistons. So basically, every time you're able to try to get onto those pistons, as I said, well, you got to hurry this up, because otherwise you would fall, and I'm 7 minutes, so screw you. So let's try this again, but first of all, let me just. Okay, so I'm just gonna able to try to do the actual, like, wait until. You freaking little. Okay, there we go. So now we managed able to get into that section again. So hopefully we won't be able to screw this up. So I'm really hoping that'll be the case. Alright. What? Ugh! Back, there we go. Okay. Oh. Just get me out of this place. Just get me out of this godforsaken level. Especially, you really can't take your time, because if you somehow manage to take your time, then the pistons will go back down again, so. Oh, god dang it. I just really hate when my jump button does not respond to me most of the time. And especially it doesn't help about the fact that I just somehow jump a bit too early, so. Anyway, that's that out of the way, and somehow we did it, so.
Well, I did get
God.
heads up and all from my faithful support team.
Well, as long as the jump button does not even screw me up, Pac-Man. I mean, jeez. It's just the jump button screwed me up. But anyway, now we're done with that, and that's it. So, at least thankfully we're on first place, so we'll just go ahead and type my name in. So, we'll do that, and well, not much else to say. So, it's an alright world, but then again, it's just that the ending section can be a bit screwy when it comes to, like, you know, doing jumps and what have you. So, because I seriously swear to God, I was having some really stupid luck with all this, you know, lack of jump button and all that stuff. But But anyways, that concludes the 8th world, and now we are moving on to the 9th world. So, yeah, we're actually getting pretty close to the end, folks. We are surely, but surely, we are getting pretty close. So, until by that time, we'll pretty much conclude the rest of the Pac-Man Worlds trilogy.
You should be able to see the outpost from there, Pac-Man. Hurry!
What's the rush, Horse? Maybe I want to enjoy the view.
I'm guessing that you can't see the approaching horde from there. Irwin's army is on its way, Pac-Man.
And if you're not here by then, Munchie, I'll have to take 'em on by my lonesome.
Wouldn't be right to let you have all the fun, Red. It's been a while since I defeated an army. Actually, I've never done it. Do we have a plan?
Not so much of a plan, Pac-Man, as a giant robot fitted with arms that go puncha, puncha.
Plus a gun that goes daka daka.
I'd better get it chomping.
And we should probably end things off here. So join me next time on Let's Play Pac-Man World 3. It's the fact that we are moving on to the 9th world, as I said. So I'll see you guys until tomorrow. Later, fellas.